it's finally back. You know, we had the unexpected bye week last week. Had to, you know, give us a little content filler earlier in the week, but now we're back on schedule. We're back talking big time game. Battle of two division leaders as well. You know, I think it's what? It's two division leaders right now, man.
You're right. If the Steelers were so they're 1-2-1. If they were 1-2-1, and we're leading the AFC North, I would be puffing my chest.
Absolutely,
we're leading the division.
They're leading the division, man. That's all that matters right now. They're leading the division. So you got two division leaders coming in. The Battle of the Keystone State. Fans officially back at Heinz Field the first time for the year of 2020. I mean, does it get better than this, baby? Come on, man. I'm excited.
I don't think just having Steelers football. I really don't.
Man, so
you could say, could we have a better opponent? But I'm good with this.
Bro, I don't care. The cross-state rivalry right here. Pittsburgh, Philly, Primanti brothers versus the cheesesteak. We're getting Tony Luke, so we're going Primanti's. Which one are we doing here? More Maxes, but that's for another debate. I'm excited though, baby. This is big time, man. And we also get revenge game potentially. You know, Javon Hargrave making his return.
Steelers-Eagles games are always good. They've had our number a couple times. Like I remember one or two games, they've completely like just dominated the defensive line to our offensive line, and Ben's getting like pass rush like no other.
Was it 15? 15 was last time we played out there. And they absolutely wore
I think it was the year we won the Super Bowl. Actually, they dominated us too. We beat them way back Ben's rookie year with McNabb. Them and the Patriots were like the two undefeated teams. They were the heavyweights at the time, and Ben comes in just a rookie, you know, and then we go on our nice little 13-win run. But I think Ben's 2-2 against them. We've had good matchups with the Eagles. So even though their record 1-2-1, people may be ripping on the Eagles. I think more or less, I think it's more due to injuries than anything. I mean, the product they're putting out there, especially like San Fran, Carson Wentz is running for his life. We'll get into this more, but they might be a sneaky team. I don't know.
It might be a sneaky team.
Like even though they're down a little bit, I just think it could still be a good game. That's all.
I could dig that.
Could be. We'll see what I really got to say about it.
Well, the thing right now, I think Vegas has it still as a 7-point favorite. So that's a good spread right there, man. But yeah, let's just dive into this thing from as a whole. I do think that the Eagles have suffered mightily from injuries. You hit on that a little bit. You look at their offensive line, they're missing 3 guys who started for them at some point, whether they're week 1 starters or once, I believe it was Andre Dillard got hurt, who was the starting left tackle. They moved Jason Peters, who came out of retirement to play left guard for them because their guard got hurt. Then he moves the left tackle. He gets hurt. So they definitely have, you know, dealt with some adversity in their front. And then obviously from the receiver standpoint, once again, still been banged up.
Decimated.
Look at the amount of guys they have injured, whether they're on IR, short-term, long-term, either way, you still have multiple guys up there. And then defensively, outside of their front 7, their secondary, once again, is still dealing with injuries. 2 of your starting 4 secondary players right now have been injured at some point throughout the season, missing games and things like that. I think that's their biggest issue. But more so than anything, with this Eagles team, they're turning the ball over too much. They're leading the league in turnovers right now. They have 9 giveaways. If you have a team that is dealing with injuries, if you have a team that isn't the most talented, you can't beat yourself. That was the difference when you looked at the Steelers last year. Even though we would turn the ball over, it was like we had that streak going at least 1 turnover a game. It was still kind of offset because we were winning the turnover battle in terms of our defense creating more turnovers. They're not being able to do either or. They're not winning their turnover battle in terms of creating them, and they're not protecting the ball. That's the biggest thing that stands out to me. I think right now Carson Wentz is trying to do a little bit too much. I know the interception he had in the first quarter against the Niners, I'm looking at him in the pocket. I'm just like, well, you're spinning around for no reason, and then you just throw up some duck trying to just get the ball. It's just not looking good. Like I said, it looks like he's pressing too hard, trying to do too much instead of just letting the game come to him like it typically does. So to me, I think that's my biggest thing with Philly right now.
Yeah, they're completely decimated. I guess with like Wentz, what's interesting to me is it kind of goes back to the Texans with Deshaun Watson against us. He's able to move, man. He's able to extend the play and everything. So I think for us, it's going to be a similar game plan. You're just going to have to be able to wrap him up because he doesn't have the receivers. Although they're saying Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey have been practicing in a limited form. I don't know if I'd say.
Well, Deshaun, him dealing with the hamstring, I don't trust that at all, especially with a guy like him because he is a speed player. It's not like, well, Alshon is a bigger body, more possession style. With Deshaun, he's good because of how quick he is, how fast he runs. That with hamstring doesn't go well. You know what I mean? Like
you think even if he tried to play,
yeah, I don't see him finishing.
Fine.
Yeah, I don't see him finishing at all. I feel like it's a similar situation to Julio Jones. Julio was dealing with the hamstring going into this game, the week 4 game. I think he played a quarter, maybe. I don't even think he made it to the second quarter before he pulled up, and after that, it's over. When you're talking about hamstring injuries, man, it kills you if you're a speed guy because you can't hit that next gear to make you fast without having to strain that hamstring a little bit. And if it's not 100%, then yeah, it's just going to pull. And if he's going into the game already dealing with the hamstring that was lingering from the week prior, it's not going to be able to put him in the best situation. Even when you watch him on tape, you can just see like, yeah, he's not laboring, but you could tell he's conscious of it. And I feel like when you have guys that have dealt with hamstrings multiple times, it never fully heals back. It just becomes, all right, I can do 90% of this. All right, I can do 80% of that. And up until you eventually just pull it again and completely tear it and have to get surgery and things like that. But that's what I'm saying when I look at Deshaun, and that's why I'm not really concerned about him in that vein compared to like with the Texans, where we said, man, they had good receivers, just not great receivers. I think with the Eagles,
it's the whole offense as a whole.
Right,
I'd say it's a similar formula. Like Wentz is going to have to be trying to make plays on his own, but then they have less weapons overall, and I think Wentz is a little bit worse than Watson as well. So I feel good. I feel good about it.
Well, I mean, you always feel good about it.
Yeah, but I guess
I feel good about it.
The positives you could say about the Eagles are Zach Ertz over any of the Texans tight ends.
Okay, and
then I'd take Miles Sanders over David Johnson at this point in their careers as well.
I mean, it's debatable, but I'm not against it. I just feel like right now, Miles is still more of a projection. We're saying he could get to that, but right now we've seen one good year from him, and that's pretty much what we've seen from David Johnson.
He's had almost 200 yards in 2 games this year. Not 200 yards total, back-to-back 100-yard games.
Total,
they were in the 90s, and then last week. It was weird. Did you? You watched the game and everything. Like,
did I watch the game? Really?
I know.
What?
I know.
What?
It was an empty question, just a filler. It was a filler question.
Oh man!
It seemed like their running game actually wasn't bad, but I don't know. It was weird when I looked back at the stat line. What was it, 13 for a little over 40 yards for Miles Sanders? I was like, I thought it looked like he did a little bit better. He did have 2 catches for 30 yards.
I mean, if you look at the numbers lie to you. Miles Sanders, it says, you know what his average per carry is on the year?
I don't know. Is it? It's got to be over 4. Yeah, James Conner's 5 something.
But you know how many rushing yards he has for the season?
I don't know. Well, he missed the first game.
I'm just saying. Do you know how many rushing yards he has for the season?
So it's got to be like 230, 220, something like that.
To me, I'm just like, the 4.6, I feel like that's misleading personally, man. I watch it on tape. Like you said, you see some gash runs every once in a while. You'll see a little bit of the misdirection type of stuff to kind of, I mean, and it's smart what they're doing in terms of the misdirection, in terms of the counter runs, because you know their offensive line being banged up how it is, they're not winning the line of scrimmage. So if you're not going to be able to win in terms of getting that yard or 2 yards of push by the O-line, what you do is you use the D-line's aggressiveness and skills against them. So if you have an aggressive D-line you're playing against, like the Niners were last week, who dominate the line of scrimmage, well, you use that against them. So while they're flying the field, you're doing counter stuff. You're doing just mistiming or off-tempo type things just to catch them off guard. The thing is this, it's cool as a change-up, but it's not going to be enough to sustain success and have a sustainable, good, productive day on the ground. I think that's the biggest issue.
Especially not against us. I'm like saying all that. David Johnson really didn't do too much against us. I'm really not feeling that Miles Sanders will either. No matter like where you rank him in terms of running backs or how good you think he is, I just think our defensive line's that good and our front seven's that good. So that's what I mean. I just don't. There's not much to worry about with their offense, I think, because whenever you look at Ertz, all right, I feel like one of our safeties, we're going to be able to key in on him just because the Eagles don't have weapons on the outside at receiver. I think we could leave Hayden and Nelson to single up those guys, and maybe we could focus more attention on Ertz. So then outside of that, what do they have left, really? It's Carson Wentz just trying to make plays in the backfield and extend plays.
Absolutely, and that's what we've seen from them, and ultimately that's why their record is what it is right now. Like I said, with Wentz, though, I think the difference between him and Deshaun right now, Deshaun, even though similar scenarios in terms of running for their lives, obviously the Texans O-line is better than the Eagles as it stands today. The difference, though, I feel like is Deshaun Watson takes better care of the ball in terms of his decision making.
You can't argue that right now.
Whereas with Carson Wentz, like I said, I just feel like he's doing too much. And then even on the throws that he should be making, it's still a couple of throws you're seeing where you're just like you could throw that a little bit better. That almost was picked, or man, that was a duck. What happened here? He's just playing really inconsistent right now. Hopefully it continues, the inconsistency, at least for this week. You can get back on track the following week, but versus us, stay inconsistent. We don't need any of that heating up type of stuff. But I think that's the biggest thing. And with Ertz, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, he does not scare me, man. When you're watching him right now,
he didn't do anything last week.
He's a productive player, but he's still right now is more of the possession element of it. He's not giving you a ton of run after. He's not giving you the George Kittle where he's stiff arming and jumping and all this, or the Travis Kelce. Those are the type of tight ends that really scare me because of the run after ability. But with Ertz right now, I'm just not seeing that. I understand he has the name, and I know people like to put him up there with the other elite tight ends, but I just feel like he doesn't provide that run after right now to make a good play into an explosive back-breaking play. And hopefully, like I said, he can do that next week. Just don't do it this week. But that's my biggest thing with him right now, and that's why I don't see a scenario outside of the Steelers having miscommunication similar to the Giants, because I look at this game the same way I looked at the Giants in terms of, now obviously Saquon is a way bigger threat than Miles Sanders, but in terms of them not having the personnel really to match up against us. But what did we see in that game? It wasn't anything the Giants were doing to really give us trouble. It was more so us having miscommunication. It was more so us not being on the same page and having the details locked in like they need to. That's the only scenario where I can see this offense really giving us problems. But the reason I'm still nervous about that is because for 3 weeks now, we've seen that continue to happen. And even though they had a bye week, it wasn't like your traditional bye week where going in it's a bye week, so we can sit here and focus in on those issues. The whole week last week, they were preparing for the Titans until they got the call the day before Friday, Thursday afternoon that, hey, it's a bye week now. So you weren't even going through and saying, hey, these are the things that we got to highlight. These are the things we got to improve on. They were game planning last week. So for me, that's why I still have that little bit of unease in terms of how they're going to look coming out of this break in terms of the communication element, because they really didn't get that opportunity to just focus in on that.
Yeah, I think the only positive then is just they have Ward as their number one and this Fulgham guy is their number two. Like, it just, even with miscommunications, maybe we could.
Fulgham, man?
No,
he said, no, I'm not.
Well, here's the thing. What's interesting is if they had Dallas Goedert, I think that would be the concern. They don't have him anymore. But man, him and Ertz combo and just I think he's an awesome tight end. We talked about this in our tight end rankings, but he's hurt, so they got nothing, dude. They really don't.
Literally going into this game right now, they have, and this was earlier today. They have Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson still listed as questionable. A lot of the O-linemen of the new wave O-linemen are still listed as questionable as well, even though these guys have been practicing with like Lane Johnson, Jason Kelce. So this is not, like I said, not a super healthy group, man. Jalen Reagor still IR, obviously. Goodwin opted out. It's just, it's bad, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I just
what do you think on Jalen Hurts though, man? He's been getting some spin.
I don't want to be acting like a homer or anything, but I just don't really have too much concern.
Don't act like you don't act like one.
I think objectively though, everyone could say there shouldn't be too much concern for the Eagles' offense versus our defense.
You're not worried about Jalen Hurts?
You know what? It was weird. Whenever he was in, the offense had some spark.
You know what it kind of reminded me of?
What?
A higher end version of Taysom Hill with the New Orleans Saints. What? They're trying to do the exact same stuff that they were doing with Taysom down in New Orleans. They're trying to do some of that here in Philadelphia, man.
He's
a better version of it.
I was going to say, I'd give more credit to Hurts over Taysom Hill, actually.
No, I agree with you on that. I'm saying, though, that's what they're trying to model it after, though.
I don't like any of that. I never will.
What?
I never will. It's either go with Hurts or stick with Wentz. I don't want to be doing all that stuff.
Why?
For their sake, whatever. It helps us, I think.
I don't. I would much rather keep Wentz out there the whole time, personally. I would much rather keep Wentz out the whole time.
If you're the Steelers defense.
Yeah, you talking about them bringing in Hurts helps us. I don't feel like it helps us because I do feel like Hurts provides a little bit more in terms of athletic ability, and because of the one-off nature of the plays, they're not stuff that you work on a lot. And you never know what the new wrinkle is going to be when he's out there. It's going to evolve. It's not like when we think about what the Saints, when they first started using Taysom Hill, it was first little just, very, very elementary style plays that he would just make something happen, right? And you're like, all right, cool, catch you off guard. Then this thing then evolved to them double passing, reversing, running. Like they got a whole 20-something plays for that man now. That's what I'm concerned about when we talk about Jalen Hurts. I'm like, the more these weeks go by, the more that package for him increases. And the more it increases, that's how you can get caught not prepared for a play. And in the NFL, we know that's the difference between a no-yard gain and a touchdown sometimes, man. So that's my whole thing with that, man. I would much rather they keep Wentz out there because I feel like with Wentz, number one, the shots that he keeps taking are going to continue to add up. Number two, like I said, he's pressing right now. So I feel like he's more prone to turn the ball over. And that's kind of my thought process with that. Whereas with Jalen, the unknown of him and knowing how, like you said, when he's been out there, their offense has looked better. That makes me a little nervous, man.
Here's what I'll say, man. The thing I hate about that stuff, and which I think is the reason why I think we'll be fine with it, is you leave Wentz out there. You leave the quarterback out there. I hate that stuff. That's like an extra defender you really don't got to worry about there.
See, you're saying that, but they're trying to set up double passes. That's what they're trying to hunt right now.
Go for it, man. Right. Give it a try. Give it a try. Right. I'll take your word for it. Where it's all right, it makes things a little interesting. I think we'll be able to handle it. I can just see
it now, man. They hit the double pass, Hurts the Wentz for a bomb, and you over there throwing your beer somewhere sick. And I was over here like, dang. If only we would have just kept Wentz out there the whole time. Jeez.
Wait, kept Wentz out there? What do you mean?
In terms of not going with the Jalen Hurts package. That's what I mean. Like, keep Wentz out there the whole time. Have him stay and be the quarterback the whole time. Him out there right now, the way he's playing, does not scare me, does not concern me. I don't feel like he's doing enough. Outside of miscommunication on our end, I don't think he'll be able to do enough to catch us, to do anything to affect us. I do feel like because of Jalen Hurts and the packages that they're using him with, that can cause communication issues.
I think it'd be more interesting problems. If they went with Hurts in the middle of the game or something for them.
Nah, I think it's different, man.
So hold on, just the packages as opposed to them flipping out for Wentz
Hurts
in the middle of the game.
Taysom Hill. Is Taysom Hill scary to you if he's playing quarterback for 30 snaps?
Here's my reasoning though. The Eagles' weapons ain't there.
I'm just asking you a question.
Whereas like you could do stuff like with Cam up in New England.
I'm asking you a question, man.
Yeah.
When Taysom Hill is at quarterback, if Taysom Hill was at quarterback for the Saints for 30 plays, would you be concerned about him at all?
No, but we think Hurts is a little better than.
But when Taysom Hill comes on the field, though, you have to have your antennas up, right? Because we know when he's on the field, they find ways to use him. He's been responsible for numerous touchdowns since he's been in New Orleans, since they've been using him that way. We do know that. With Hurts right now, even though we feel like he's a better quarterback than Taysom Hill, is Jalen Hurts a better quarterback than Carson Wentz? No.
He's not, but like I said, with the Eagles' personnel, their lack of receivers and everything.
So how does putting a less quarterback out there to play quarterback full time with less weapons going to improve your offense compared to what Carson Wentz is right now?
It's a little more versatile, dual threat.
Carson Wentz is dual threat. What are we talking about here?
Run some Patriots stuff a la Cam.
God, you playing Madden, man.
I know. I'm just telling you. I think that might be a little bit more like middle of the game. I'm saying middle of the game. We wouldn't be prepared for that, and they just rolled with Hurts the rest of the game. I'm not saying he's
Hurts the rest of the game. No, I feel like that's.
I'm not saying he's better. Listen, I'm not saying he's better than Wentz. It's kind of like what we've talked about. You throw in a backup quarterback in some of these games, and all of a sudden they do great. Nick Foles in the Bears game. Yeah, it's just stuff happens. Just some weird stuff happens sometimes. That's all. I'm not saying he's better than Wentz, but in this game, in this setting, if that happened, I think that could make things a little bit more interesting. Whereas I'm not concerned about Wentz right now at all, like you said.
Fair enough. I just feel like...
Whereas that would be just a wild card that's being thrown out there. Like, whoa, what could happen?
A package, yes. A package of 15 to 20 plays, sure. You sprinkle it in how you want to sprinkle it in. It's different, though, when you're playing quarterback every single snap. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And on paper, it's easy to say do what Cam does when he's not Cam.
He's not.
So it's not going to work the same way. That's all I'm saying.
You're never going to know.
No, you do know.
And like you said, there was just
he's
a little.
definitely not Cam, man.
There was a little bit of a spark against the 49ers. So it's like you don't know. You don't. You don't.
All right, all good, man. Now, defensively, though, for the Eagles, they definitely present some challenges. Big time challenges.
Yeah, I guess just the front, really. In my opinion.
I mean, they're leading the league in sacks right now. Obviously, the Steelers had a bye week, but they're leading. They have 17. The Steelers have 15, but they have a variety of guys up there with multiple sacks. Well, I think Brandon Graham has 3 sacks. Derek Barnett has another 3. Javon Hargrave just came back his first game last week. He had a half a sack. Was it Josh Sweat is another guy? They have multiple guys up there that can generate pressure. They can get after the quarterback. So I think this is going to be the biggest test for the Steelers offensive line because we haven't seen them play against a D-line of this magnitude. I thought 2 weeks ago against the Broncos was probably the best D-line that they had saw up until that point. But this D-line right here is really good. And like I said, every week, man, you're seeing them win inside and outside. I don't think this is a scenario where with the Texans where you were just like, all right, we got to watch for this guy right here. Or when we were playing against the Giants, all right, watch for that guy right here. Or the Broncos, all right, it's Bradley Chubb. This situation right here, you don't have just one guy that you're going to single out. Very similar to when you're playing against the Steelers. Which guy are you going to allow to have the single, the one-on-one? I mean, pick your poison. That's the type of scenario they have going on in Philly. I could definitely see that causing some issues. So hopefully the O-line, they did have a really good game that last game against the Texans. Hopefully that can continue on. But if not, that can definitely cause major issues, man.
It definitely could. And like I said in the past, they've been able to get some pressure on Ben whenever in these Steelers-Eagles games for whatever reason. The interesting thing, I'll give you just a little caveat, just something to think about. I'm not going to be ripping on the Eagles pass rush or anything, but the games that they completely dominated, Washington, Bengals, and then 49ers last week, all below average offensive lines. They played the Rams and only got one.
Average offensive lines for the Niners?
That's what I'm reading. A lot of people are ripping on them online. I wanted to do my fact checking before I came on here and said that, but a lot of people are saying the offensive line is the weakest link of the 49ers. So that's kind of all I'm saying there.
Weakest link on that team, yes. In terms of how they compare around the league, though?
Well, they had a bad quarterback. Like that's tough running an offense like that when you got your backup and third stringer too. Yeah, so absolutely. Defenses can come in and tee off.
And they actually used both of those quarterbacks too in San Fran as well, man.
So yeah, when they played the Rams, they only got 1 sack and the Rams dominated them. So that's kind of one of those things that I'm thinking, all right, maybe I'm not going to say overrated, but maybe are the numbers perhaps a little bit misleading.
I get nervous when you say that though.
What?
We said we're not being homers, right?
I'm not. No.
What? Giants offensive line.
What's up? Wait, what are we talking about?
The Broncos offensive
line. Our pass
line.
Rush. All right. What's the last one?
Texans offensive line.
All right. Cool.
I'm just saying. Technically, could another party outside looking in say similar things about our pass rush right now?
They can, and we'll prove them wrong. That's all.
Right,
I think. We'll see. We'll see what the Eagles want. Yeah, that's all I want to say. I think we'll prove that wrong. We'll see if the Eagles prove me wrong or not. Gotcha. That's all.
And I guess from a strength of schedule standpoint, with Philly, let's see, they've played they just played the Niners, but the Niners were banged up.
Yeah, Washington. It was the Rams. Yeah, Bengals.
Washington got out. They had the lead on Washington, and then Washington's D line took off. Tied with Cincinnati. Yeah, similar situations. We're not seeing a lot of dog teams that they didn't beat, man.
Well, they're 1-2-1.
Right.
They're 1-2-1. But that's their strength. And that's just kind of what I wanted to throw out there. Is like, yeah, that is their strength. Yeah. If they dominate us, then we could have some trouble. But I'm thinking going in, maybe it'll be a little bit overblown just because of what I said with the Rams game as opposed to the other 3 games where below average offensive lines from all accounts out there.
Okay.
Especially, we could say the Bengals for sure. They had 8 sacks in that game. Bengals' offensive line is garbage.
But I do think, though, when you talk about the Rams game, I do think the Rams style of offense and how they're playing right now with Jared Goff does play a bigger role in terms of the lack of sacks and the lack of pressure they were able to get in that game.
So what would they be doing drastically different than us, though, is my question.
This my thing. When we're talking about the different styles, like for the Rams right now, even though Goff is still passing well, and this has been the big misconception when people think of the Rams under McVay, they think, man, pass first always. They are predicated off of the run, and off of that, they use play action pass, which helps Goff get those gaudy numbers. It helps him get the chunk plays. That's what they've been doing even when Todd Gurley was there. That's their style of play. They want to run that ball and play action off of that. You're not rushing the passer like a madman when it's play action. You got to stop this run, especially if you're struggling to stop the run. Whereas with some of these other teams, and more importantly, like we talk about Pittsburgh right now, do you think we're a run first team or do you think we're a pass first team? We're definitely not a play action pass team, even though when we do it, it works. It works when we do it. We just do not do it a lot.
It's weird because we ran the ball a lot against the Texans. Right. Actually, I'd say it's a combo of both. Like we have a good balance right now, I think. Because like you said with the Rams, with the running and stuff, I could say, man, I could see the Steelers having a good running attack against
which
they
Eagles should defense. Though. I mean, James Conner being healthy the way he is, obviously we've had a 100-yard rusher in each game. James coming off his best performance of 2020. I'm banking on that, right? That has to carry over. You're assuming it does because another week of, like I said, being healthy, another week just getting more comfortable, everybody getting back up to speed. So I do think that is going to be a big advantage, man, in terms of him being able to just have that war of attrition, right? How you see him 17, 20 carries type and just kind of wear them down. I can see a scenario like that, honestly.
Yeah, and then you combine everything we've talked about with the Steelers offense and how you could mitigate some type of pass rush and just how our offensive line was playing the first couple games. I think they definitely did a lot better in the Texans game, but it just quick passes, man. And I think that's what I'm talking about with this balance. Like we can do that whenever we want. We could run the ball. I'm not going to, the Broncos game, I think the numbers are a little bit misleading there, but Giants game and then the Texans game, it just feels like, all right, I think we have a running game here. It's not like those are one-offs. I think we're going to be able to do stuff on the ground throughout the season.
Well, I think especially this game, the Steelers on offense and defense, if they execute, they should still be able to have their way. This isn't a good football team they're playing against. We talked about the team really not being tested. We thought the Titans would be that test. The Eagles aren't the Titans. The Eagles are 1-2-1 for a reason. They have little things that could cause some issues, and a lot would have to go right for them to be successful in this game. I'm just simply saying that they do have some things that can make it a little bit uneasy, but the Steelers, if they do what they're supposed to do, they should take care of business and it not be a debate. But that's the biggest thing right now. We just have to hope that, hey, man, when they come out, that they're going to look like that they're not going to take this as, oh, it's a 1-2-1 Eagles and play down to it. That's what you can't have happen, because then they can make something happen. They can hit a play here or there. And now you're sitting here and we're holding on to our chairs like, which we don't want.
It's weird because on paper, the Eagles look bad, decimated, all this type of stuff. But I guess because of the Eagles brand, whatever it is, you always just feel like they're still a good team. They still got Wentz at quarterback, all this type of stuff. Like, I don't know. It goes back to the intro actually of you saying big time matchup and all this stuff. It's like I still feel like this is a good game, good matchup potentially.
No, I think it's going to be a good game. I don't think, even though on paper it should be a blowout,
That's
I do
what
not
I'm saying.
think it's going to be a blowout.
It's something.
At all,
I think it's something with the Eagles brand, the Eagles Steelers matchups that have happened in the past that just got me in my mind thinking that. On paper, I've been going through this. I'm not worried, but I don't know. Maybe it's the history thing or whatever it is. I don't know.
I'm about to say, you more the historian when it comes to the Steelers. I don't really have that vibe going on right now.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But I just know, like I said, when I see what I see on tape from them, man, there's certain things that they can do that can potentially cause some unease with us. And more so, like I said, with us though, man, it's a us game. If the Steelers go out there and execute and they communicate and they protect the ball, don't turn it over, they're gonna be fine.
If the 49ers did all that, they would have
been fine. Yeah.
The pick 6 by Mullins, he had another one that was just completely terrible when they were down in the red zone.
Absolutely.
That's a 10-point swing right there.
Yeah. But the problem, man, with the Niners, you could just see them not really having an identity in terms of that quarterback playing, which is why they switch quarterbacks mid-game. Like when you're down to your second quarterback and you're switching in the game to the third guy, like that's tough. It's not a good situation for you, man.
We were there.
Yeah, we absolutely were. We saw the benefits of it, and then we saw how it didn't work out, man. Like it's just hard to do, man.
I didn't think of that at all while watching that game. Yeah. Where it's like, we dealt with this last year. Yeah. I have so much empathy for these guys. I didn't think of that at all. I was like, man, these guys suck.
And you look at the Niners defense. The Niners defense was creating plays, getting splashed. You're like, dang, dude. If you watch just the Niners defense, against the Eagles offense, you would think, man, the Niners had that win this game, man. They were balling out on defense, creating turnovers, getting after them, like doing everything. And then you look and you're like, oh, the offense is terrible. Golly. Like, yeah.
You have anything else for the offense versus the defense? I got an X factor.
Let me think. What else did I have up here? No, I think that was my biggest thing, man. Yeah, for the Steelers on defense, create the turnovers you're supposed to create, dominate that matchup up front. On offense, yeah, when the Steelers on offense, protect the ball and then go after those DBs, man. I feel like in their secondary, yeah, they're not completely healthy and they don't have the same talent across the board.
You know who the X factor is?
Which name you dropping today?
Dude, it's Ebron.
It's Ebron.
Dude, the Eagles linebackers aren't that good. Mm-hmm. They've been struggling to cover tight ends. Okay. Kittle completely dominated him last week, and I was trying to watch the snaps and everything. Like, all right, who's covering Kittle? I think it was like 50%. There was some type of linebacker on him, and they're missing their main linebacker. He just got hurt. I forget what his name was. I was listening to some little Eagles sports talk show this morning, and actually really good. I wish
So they have. I'm looking on their defense right now. Let's see, T.J. Edwards.
That's the guy that's hurt.
Yeah,
that's the guy that's hurt.
IR, the middle linebacker.
Yep, and he's been their best guy by all accounts from the Eagles sports talk show that I was listening to. A lot of good information. I wish I knew your name. I could give you a shout out, but it was pretty good. I was trying to just gather some intel on this. But anyway, George Kittle completely goes off. Tyler Higbee had 3 touchdowns whenever the Rams played him. And then even the first week with Washington, Logan Thomas, is this the same dude I'm thinking of? Played quarterback at Virginia Tech, switched over to tight end. He even got a touchdown and a few receptions against them. So I think Ebron could be in for a big game here. I think that could be a big mismatch.
All right.
Everything in the past with the Eagles these past 3-4 weeks has shown that they're vulnerable with the tight end. And we got a pretty damn good one in Ebron. So Ben's building that connection with him right now.
What's up with Vince? What's gonna love?
Well, we know Ebron's more the receiving tight end here, and that can make the splash plays.
We just know Vince, run out the catch, man. He can step on you and he'll get all right.
All right, look out for Vince too. Just a little.
All right. I feel better now. I was like, hey, Vince, they're gonna love.
Here's what I could see: 7 receptions, 90 yards, touchdown for Ebron.
Okay.
4 receptions, 50 yards for Vance. And yeah, one of them is it like just a little pitch in the middle of the field.
And he just gets some red zone right out there.
Stiff arm for 15 yards. Yeah.
All right.
Nah, tight end though. Watch out.
I like it.
Deke's X Factor.
Deke's X Factor.
Ebron,
all right.
Watch out. Watch out. I'm telling you.
I like it.
That's it. Yeah. So for the I guess they're Darius Slay, but Maddox is hurt. They just moved I think they moved one of their safeties to cornerback last game.
I would say Maddox is still listed as questionable, and then Rodney McLeod, he's another guy that's out there. He's listed as questionable also, man.
I mean, I feel good about our receivers with that matchup. Deontay Johnson's going to be back, so I feel like we got the firepower on offense, and like you said, if we just do everything we're supposed to be doing, shouldn't be a problem.
I agree, man.
We're the better team on both facets.
So what you got, man? Still was 50?
No, you know what it is, man.
No,
I gotta
keep.
You
said you weren't doing that no more.
I gotta keep the vibes going. What do you mean?
When we talked to Tua, you was like, I'm not worried about like picking the same scores anymore. I thought.
No, I am doing that. I'm not.
You're not doing everything else.
It's not superstitious or anything, though.
All right, cool.
I got the beard still, man. I got it.
I ain't even. I was like, yo, I didn't.
What do you mean? Is it patchy?
It's something.
It's a mess, dude.
I was like, yo, I don't know. It's like in between, or
it's a mess.
Right.
This is like 4 or 5 weeks right now.
Yeah.
Because I think I started before. It was like maybe a few days before week 1. So this has been, between 4 or 5 weeks.
I like
this
it.
Has been.
So you got them 27-13, huh?
Yep. Yeah. Okay, I don't even got to say it. You know what it is. Until we lose. Until we lose. Beard and 27-13. Those are the consistent things right now.
Okay. All right.
I feel good about the game, though. Like I said, there's that, like I said, that whole history thing in the background. Eagles Steelers going to be good matchup still, but on paper, man, everything I'm looking at, all my deep dives, my intel that I'm gathering, shouldn't be an issue here. We should dominate.
I like it, man. I'm trying to think from a score standpoint. Jeez, man, I hate after the bye week. I'll probably go 24. I'll go 24-14, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, 24-14, man. It's the NFL. Shutouts are extremely hard, especially when you already have some inconsistencies already in place, man, and we don't know if they got that corrected or not. Yeah, I say 24-14, but the game never gets where we're nervous. We're always in control of it.
We're saying bet the Steelers with the spread then. We got them both over 7.
Yeah, man. Take Deke's advice on that. Don't put me in there. I don't want you calling me up if you lose money, baby.
So what you think? You actually think we potentially could have like a single-digit defensive effort here?
Not defensive effort. I think it could be a scenario where if it was 21-17, it would not surprise me at all. If it was 20-17, it wouldn't surprise me. Like,
you think the Eagles will get double digits?
Yeah, I do. And I'm just saying, I think like when I say single digits, I'm talking about in terms of margin of victory. I can see it being, even though we are winning convincingly, it's still a single score game, 6 points.
And you're chalking that up
points.
to NFL. It's just being NFL.
That's the NFL, right?
Okay.
Even though I do think that if the Steelers execute and play like how they can play, they should win this by 2 scores. I just don't know if they could do it just yet because we haven't seen it. We have as much talent as we've seen on offense, as much talent as we've seen on defense. We have not seen them for 4 quarters, offense and defense put together one of those type of games just yet.
For 4 quarters. Someone brought up a good point though that I kind of forgot. I think it was on my Instagram comments or something like that. But I mean, it could have been 2 scores against the Texans.
Yeah,
we just nailed at the end.
Well, that's the thing. For you to say it could have been 2 scores with the Texans, we could also say it could have been a safety when Chase Claypool fumbled the ball going into the end zone, and then that could have been, like I said, them getting the ball back. Who knows what happens then?
Yeah, that's just self-destruction there.
Yeah, but he did fumble the ball, right?
But in terms of Steelers playing that game, outplaying the Texans.
Did he fumble that ball, though?
He did, yeah.
That's all I'm saying. So I feel like even though when people always, oh, man, they would have had 30 right there. They would have just took a knee. Or, I mean, if they would have just kept going, at the same time, like, that ball was on the ground. And that ball could have easily bounced to that end zone, and it's a totally different game then, man. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. But in terms of Steelers outplaying the Texans, you could say it felt like a double-digit win.
If you say so, man.
You said, but no, to your point, you said 4 quarters. So I would say that was more or less a second half.
Yeah, it was
domination.
very much a second half domination. Absolutely.
But yeah, that's what we got then, man. Steelers over Eagles. What?
You said like you were surprised or something, man. Like I feel like with you, man, I feel like you supposed to drop a 50 burger on us one time, 30 burger. We've seen
27-13.
The Browns even scored 49.
27-13.
So we can't score 30 yet. You realize, they said that actually it's been what?
Am 20? I capping us? Because I don't think we have over 30.
Haven't scored
I keep saying 27.
Listen, we haven't scored over 30 points in 23 games. And let's see, they said this year right here has been the highest scoring averages of any NFL season.
That's
and
fine.
We're the only team.
We'll just keep winning.
So we're the only team right now that hasn't got a 30
We'll just
burger,
keep winning, man. I ain't concerned about it.
We can't get 30. Can you just bump it up a little bit?
I want the wins. It's cool.
We can't just go a little bit.
It's cool, man. Anyone could take their points.
We just need 3 points.
Huh?
We just need 3 points.
I've been picking 27-13 and we're 3-0, so that's what's happening here.
But you're not superstitious,
I'm not.
So you're not worried about it, bro. What's up with that 30 bird? You got the beard still, so we're
It's
good.
Fun. It's fun. I'm 27-13 in the beard. It's fun. It's not superstitious. It's fun.